seem to act more consistently, in coordination.
Destroying the nest is now a priority.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're considering going for Cronos: The New Dawn, you're in for a ride. This game has some remarkable survival horror elements that can be a bit tricky if you're not familiar with its mechanics. Don't worry though, I've got your back. Today we're going to go over 10 things you absolutely need to know before you even think about buying it. These tips will not only make your experience smoother, but also help you avoid some common mistakes players make early on. So let's break it down. Fire fuel dispensers, infinite resource. Alright, let's kick things off with one of the best resources in Cronos, fire fuel. In the early stages of the game, you'll likely encounter fire fuel dispensers that seem like they only provide a one-time use, making you want to save that fuel for a special moment. Well, stop right there. These dispensers never run out. Seriously, you can backtrack to them at any point, and they will always have more fuel for you to use. Now, why is this important? Because fire is a game changer when it comes to dealing with enemies. It stuns foes and burns biomass, which powers up enemies. Using fire to clear out enemies early on is an excellent strategy, especially when you're dealing with stronger foes later in the game. Don't hoard the fuel for later, use it now, and keep coming back for more as you progress. The backtracking might feel like a chore, but trust me, it's worth it. Fire is your best friend. Charge shots are a must, not a maybe. Here's a big tip for you right out the gate. Only use charged shots to deal real damage. Sounds like common sense, right? But in Cronos, the game doesn't really hammer home this crucial point. If you shoot normally, you're barely going to hurt enemies. In fact, you'll likely just waste ammo and attract even more enemies to chase you down. Charge your shots up for maximum damage, especially aiming for headshots. You can even stagger enemies with a well-timed charged shot. The key to surviving in Cronos is precision, and the charged shots let you dish out some serious pain when aimed correctly. So don't get too comfortable just firing away. Charge those shots, line up your targets, and make sure you're not wasting ammo or time on weaker attacks. If you're struggling with damage, this is the #1 thing to change about your playstyle. Upgrade weapon charge, times, and inventory first. When it comes to upgrades in Cronos, you might be tempted to focus on damage or health first, but that's actually not the smartest move. The first things you should prioritize are weapon charge time and expanding your inventory. Why? Well, let's start with charge time. If you want to deal the most damage, you need to charge your shots quickly, especially when you're facing multiple enemies. The faster your charge time, the better your chances of taking down enemies before they even get too close. As for inventory space, you'll quickly realize that your storage is limited. You need to carry a variety of weapons, ammo, crafting materials, and other essentials, and early on, you'll find yourself running out of space fast. Increasing your inventory size early on is a game changer, allowing you to gather more items without constantly backtracking. Focus on these upgrades first, and the rest of the game will feel way more manageable. Crafting is a lifesaver. Now, let's talk about crafting. Cronos has limited inventory space, so you're constantly going to be juggling items, especially crafting materials. The key here is to craft as soon as you hit your inventory limits. There's no point in leaving materials behind if you can turn them into something useful. For instance, when you've maxed out materials like chemicals or parts, use them to create health items, ammo, or fuel. That way, you're not wasting any valuable resources, and you're staying stocked up on what you actually need. The game doesn't always make it obvious when you're about to hit a point of no return, so crafting at every opportunity ensures that you won't leave behind any essential items. Don't wait until your inventory is completely full. As soon as you hit the limit, use what you can to craft useful items and keep your inventory manageable. Fight at a distance. Here's something you absolutely need to understand early on. Cronos is not built for close-range combat. The game's mechanics make it clear that you're much better off staying at a distance from enemies. You're slow, your character doesn't have a lot of dodging or evasive options, and that means you'll struggle if you get too close to enemies. The best strategy is to keep your distance and charge your shots. The longer you can stay out of harm's way, the better. Even if you need to awkwardly backpedal or sidestep, it's worth it to give yourself more time to charge up a shot and make your attack count. If enemies get too close, you'll quickly realize that you don't have the mobility to avoid damage effectively, and you'll be at a disadvantage. Fight from afar, take your time with shots, and avoid getting caught in tight spaces where your limited mobility becomes a liability. Always check every corner. As you venture through the world of Cronos, make sure you're scanning every nook and cranny. The game is all about survival, and resources like ammo, health items, and crafting materials are in short supply. It's easy to miss things unless you take the time to look closely at every corner and hidden space. That's right, wall hug your way around every room, making sure you check behind every object and around every corner. You'd be surprised how often ammo and health packs are hidden in the environment, sometimes just a few steps out of sight. Skipping over these resources can leave you in a tight spot, so take the time to explore every room thoroughly. It might slow down your progress, but in a game where resources are so precious, those extra bullets or health patches could be the difference between life and death. Avoid shooting the acid polyps. You'll come across acid polyps in Cronos, and they're pretty nasty if you shoot them. They release a corrosive acid that can easily mess up your day, so it might seem logical to take them out from a distance, right? Wrong. You don't have the ammo to spare for that. Instead, approach them slowly, trigger them, and then back away before they explode. It's all about timing here. If you rush it, you'll end up wasting ammo or taking unnecessary damage. The more you play, the better you'll get at judging when the polyps are ready to go off, and soon enough, you'll have it down to a science. Keep an eye on the sound and visual cues they give off. When you know they're about to burst, back off quickly and let them explode safely. It might take a bit of practice, but trust me, this will save you so much ammo. Use stash boxes. They're a lifesaver. Managing your inventory is one of the hardest parts of Cronos. The game starts you off with barely enough space to carry the essentials, and you're constantly going to be running out of room. But there's a simple solution: stash boxes. These boxes let you store items you don't need right away, freeing up space for more important resources. As you explore, use these boxes to your advantage. Drop off items that you don't need at the moment but might need later, like upgrade cores, or leave behind some health or ammo if you've got enough for the next leg of your journey. Sometimes you'll find stash boxes in safe rooms, and they'll be your best friend for managing inventory. Don't hesitate to backtrack a bit if you're running out of space. It'll save you a lot of frustration in the long run, especially when you're collecting a bunch of valuable resources. Always clear the area before activating objectives. Before you activate an objective in Cronos, whether it's pressing a button, opening a door, or triggering a cutscene, make sure you've cleared the area of enemies and resources. If you trigger an objective before you've checked everything, you might end up facing a surprise ambush. Enemies can flood in quickly, and if you've left any valuable resources behind, ammo, healing items, or biomass for enemies to consume, you're going to make your life a lot harder. It's always a good idea to clear out enemies, grab everything you can, and make sure you're ready for whatever comes next. That way, you can tackle your objective without worrying about suddenly being swarmed or running out of resources. Save those cores are one of the most valuable items in Cronos because they upgrade your suit and torch capabilities. However, the temptation to spend them as soon as you get them is strong. Resist it. Instead of spending cores on small upgrades, save them up for the bigger improvements, like maxing out your inventory or boosting your suit integrity. Early in the game, cores may seem plentiful, but trust me, as you progress, they become more valuable, and you'll regret spending them on minor upgrades. So, store them in your stash boxes, wait until you can afford those big, life-changing upgrades, and then use them wisely. You'll be glad you did when the tougher enemies start rolling in. And these are the top 10 things you should absolutely know before buying Cronos, The New Dawn. The game is packed with survival horror elements that require careful planning, resource management, and combat strategy. With these tips, you'll be set to conquer the challenges the game throws your way. So if you found this helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this. What's your top tip for Cronos? Drop it in the comments below and let's chat. Until next time, happy gaming!